Hello and welcome back to Spiritual Maintenance. This is the video of the throat chakra. If you've made it this far, congratulations. You are now on the threshold, crossing over into the unknown, into the moon side of things. The lower chakras, that was the light side, where the sun is shining, things that everything the light touches we can see, we're aware. But now we're on the moon side, where it's not so obvious. So you must sit in that stillness, in that quiet, to connect with spirit and to truly understand your own purpose. It's not so much about action like the other chakras. It is about going within and connecting on a very deep level. This element is of light because it is how our light is shown into the world about who we truly are and how we personally reflect spirit. The color is blue. Typically, it's, the sky blue, the baby blue. Um, and it, it gives you that idea of the sky, what's up, what's above. Now, the aspects in this area, the throat, the neck, the esophagus, illnesses related to it when it is not in alignment are chronic throat illnesses with your mouth, gums, those kind of things, jaw joint complications like TMJ, things like that, your thyroid. Curiously enough, scoliosis, and addictions. And when I kind of tuned in with spirit about scoliosis, it gave me the visual of like crooked, and this is the chakra of speaking. And so when you think of a crooked person, you think of like manipulation, lies, how they use their expression for their own gain versus for the greater good of all involved. Is also our psychic expression, because in the 3D world, we can express ourselves honestly through hand gestures, body language, things like that. But it is only through the throat that we can express what is going on within us. The psychological aspects is those manifesting our dreams, creativity, communication, and faith. Faith in a higher power, faith in ourselves. The glands, thyroid and parathyroid, and the seeds planted in the balancing of this one is personal power, faith, and will. The negative expressions in ourselves to look out for, and a good way to look out for those is to see them in others around us. So if you're seeing them, recognize that your reality is a reflection of what's going on in here. So if you see betrayal, if you see things like that, know, ooh, how am I doing that? So betrayal, addictions, psychosis, sleep disorders, lies, fear of speaking out, gossiping, and toxicity are all things to be on the lookout for in others and in yourself. The emotional and mental growth, so things that we're aiming towards, we're bettering ourselves in, is the will and strength to live, holding beliefs of personal power in overcoming obstacles, decision-making capabilities, personal expression of creative ideas, hopes, and dreams, personal sense of hope, lightness, buoyancy, and this is also the area where disease starts, but it's also the area where we overcome disease as well. So look at how often you get sick and then ask yourself, am I expressing myself? Am I advocating for myself? Getting those needs met? The Erickson's theory on personality development is adolescence. That's the stage for this one, and that is that puberty to young adulthood, kind of like that initiation, that going into your true self, your identity. There's several cultures that that express this. I think there's the quinceañera, there's the um, oh goodness, I can't think of it right now, but you get what I'm saying. There's some for the boys in the Jewish culture. Why I'm spacey on that one, I don't know. And then there's cotillion for, in other cultures. It's all about that, the passageway into adulthood, into your true selves. You no longer need that support and whatnot from your 3D realm. You can now handle yourself. And that is for the spiritual as well. Faith in yourself. Okay, the motivational type for this one is benevolence. And that the description of that is preservation and enhancement of the welfare of people with whom you are in frequent contact with. So that's family, friends, coworkers. It's all about how you interconnect with them, whether you're giving too much, whether you're not giving it all, and finding that balance in between, that reciprocity in all relationships. And speaking your truth so that your own needs can be met and so that your boundaries can be understood and validated. The goals is helpfulness, honesty, sincerity, genuineness, forgiveness, loyalty to others, responsibility, dependability, and reliability. And those are all expressed through our voice. So if you think of those areas where gossip might be coming in, you need to ask yourself, ooh, I know this is connecting me with this person by gossiping, but am I really being loyal to this person? Am I really giving them their space? So paying attention on how you express yourself through others' misfortunes and things like that. In a good way to honestly to get out of the trauma cycle. I just realized I was doing that, like swimming through emotions, because it elicits strong emotions when you're talking about others. So I guess the safe way to swim out of that is when someone says, hey, so and so said this about you. You come back with, well, what do you think? And that'll usually shut them up pretty quickly. And the other thing is that if they say, I can't stand so and so, they blah, 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 you respond with, well, have you told them that? And again, it shuts it down and it keeps you out of it. Boundaries. Okay, so the negative cognitions tied to this, those feelings within ourselves that make us think that we don't deserve to speak our truth, to shine our light, to live our life, is I don't belong, I can't connect, I'm invisible, I'm a misfit, and I'm an outsider. But the positive cognitions that you can write on your mirror, your wall, your book, whatever, and read these every single day is I do belong. I do deserve to belong. I am or can be connected with others. I deserve to be seen. I matter. I am unique, as are others. And finally, I can manage my place within social settings. And a good example of utilizing your throat chakra correctly was in this download I got from Spirit probably 20 minutes before this video. And it was grieving. Like I saw like someone's life had been lost and there were two people grieving. One wanted to get rid of everything of this person because she just could not bear to see those things, and she felt that she couldn't grieve until that was removed from her space, and so she could sit within that loss. Whereas there was another person who needed to hang on to these things, to hold them, to have that comfort of these things to remind themselves of this person. And at first I had seen it as like turmoil between the two of like, I can't believe you're throwing these things away. I can't believe you're getting rid of them. You're getting rid of him. And the other person is throwing back, um, you're so harsh, you don't understand me, those kind of things. And then Spirit showed me that the best way for them to communicate was to speak up for themselves. The one saying, I can't grieve until it's out of my sight, and I really need to because I hurt so much. And the other one can say, or would need to say, hey, I need some of this in order to grieve. May I take some things with me before you get rid of them? And then in that understanding each other's, recognizing the difference, the uniqueness of each other and how they navigate life is how they can be there for each other and hold each other up at their highest good and help each other through it. So the other one who needs to get rid of things, maybe letting the other one know, like, yes, absolutely, you can take some things, but if you don't mind, if you know I'm coming over, can you put them in a way in somewhere where I can't see them until I'm ready? And the other one, being there for the other, saying, absolutely. So that was probably one of the simplest, most beautiful ways I've ever seen the throat chakra being used for its highest good, which makes sense because it came from spirit. So everything's beautiful from there. So I hope that that helped. And I will have a meditation up specifically for how you can speak your truth, how you can stand up for yourself, be firm in creating boundaries. And boundaries does not mean cutting off people with bitterness and like, bye, I'm never seeing you again. Sure, there might be some of those that are, physically, even deeply emotionally abusive, that yes, for your safety, do that. But you don't have to do that with everyone. Boundaries is just recognizing how much of someone you can handle, and then making goals of like, okay, this person I can handle them for 30 minutes. This person I can handle them for 2 days. And then coming up with things after those 30 minutes of like, oh, hey, I got to go to an appointment, or hey, I have a phone call, and coming up with something where you can create that disconnect in a very graceful and loving manner, while still allowing the other person to be themselves and recognizing that their level of healing is, not only do they heal differently, but they're at a different level than you are. Most people are. We're all at different levels. And just recognizing that. And I will tie that in to the meditation in whichever way Spirit wants me to. And I hope this helped. And I will see you next time. So much love. Bye.